welcome to my newest Fulbright travel vlog. Thanks for stopping by. So as many of you know, I've had a couple days in Warsaw to kill time, and while some days have been more productive than others, I'm actually feeling pretty good about some logistics about my trip. Uh, so the first day I was here, well, I guess it's the second day I was here because the first day I was here, I got here at like 7 p.m. and I just passed out. So the first day I was awake in Warsaw. Um, I decided to go to the mall, and the mall it was actually pretty close. It was like 15 minutes walking, but the entire way to the mall, was like a really nice sidewalk, like paved. There was a bike lane the whole way, uh, crosswalks at every intersection. It was like a pretty nice walk. It was like landscape too. There were trees like lining the walkway. But anyway, one of the first things I noticed on the way to the mall was uh, like the abundance of American brands. I mean, you could see like McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut, and of course there was like other Polish brands mixed in. There were definitely some Polish brands there too, but the American brands just stuck out to me because they're familiar. So you pick up on familiar things faster. But anyway, my intention of going to the mall was that before I came on my trip, I decided that instead of unlocking my phone, my US phone, um, and getting a new SIM card for it, that I would just leave it on airplane mode and use it because you can still use it even if it's on airplane mode. You can use it for internet, Wi-Fi, like you can Skype, text, email, basically anything that you would use internet for, you can still use on your phone. And then when I was then I decided that when I get to Poland, I would buy a phone just to make calls and texts. So yeah, and so I looked online before I went to the mall to make sure that they had a Saturn outlet because Saturn is like a well-known like tech store in Poland, and I read online that they would have like a pretty good selection of cell phones and like whatever tech services I need to get done. Um, so I'm walking up on this. I can see the mall at this point. It's pretty big. It's probably 6 or 7 stories, I think. And I walk up, and it's like an office complex too. It's kind of like office complexes with like a bigger mall building in the middle. And I see the Saturn logo like all the way across the side. So I just go straight ahead. I go into the straight door. The first door that I see, I go into. And as soon as I walk in the door, I know I messed up because it doesn't look like a mall at all. It looks like a reception area for like offices. There's like 4 elevators and there's a reception desk, and but like I don't know what to do. I'm like panicked. I can't just turn around and walk out. So I walk up to the help desk and I say, Simovich po angielsku, which means you speak English, because that's like the only thing I know how to say, because yeah, I don't really know I don't know many phrases. And she goes, no. So then I just say Saturn, like maybe she'll like recognize the brand and like kind of understand what I'm trying to say. But she just kind of gives me a quizzical look. So then I have the bright idea to get out my phone because I'm thinking maybe I can Google it. Maybe I can look up Saturn brand and like show her, and then she'll know what I'm talking about. Um, but as I pull up my phone, I realize I don't have Wi-Fi yet. I haven't connected anything. And so now I'm just staring at my phone like, okay, this is now really awkward because the reception desk lady is like staring at me waiting. And I don't know what to do. Like, do I just put my phone back in my pocket and walk out and say bye? But anyway, before we got to that point, 2 businessmen walked in, and I just looked up and I said the same thing. I said, "Do you speak English?" And one of the guys goes, "Yes, I do." And so then I said, "Do you know where Saturn is?" He goes, "Saturn? What's Saturn?" And I go, "Saturn?" He goes, "Oh, Saturn." And I'm thinking, "Yeah, Saturn." And so, and he knew where it was, so he took me outside and he pointed me in the right direction. He gave me super detailed information. I don't know how I remembered it, but he didn't just give me directions to the mall entrance. He gave me directions like if you were actually in the mall, like go down this hallway, take a left, go down the stairs, go up. So yeah, he gave me great like directions, and it was awesome. And he was really friendly. He was like smiled the whole time. And like before we left, we shook each other's hand, which was like it's a weird, like, why did we shake hands after you gave me directions? But it was like so natural at the time. I felt like I made a friend. But yeah, so he directed me to the mall, and so once I got to the mall, like it's like one of the malls where there's a big circular area that's open. So there's each level has like a balcony around, like a circular balcony, so you can look down to the lowest level. But I got to the top, and there was several different foods. I was really hungry, so I looked for food first because it was like noon and I hadn't eaten yet. And one of the first, well, there was Subway and McDonald's, but I decided that, like I'm in Poland, like it's my first meal in Poland, like I can't eat McDonald's in Poland on my first meal, like that's pretty lame. So I decided I was going to look for a Polish restaurant, and I decided that they were Polish because it had Polski in its name at the end. So I'm thinking, well, this is my best shot because like even the other restaurants, it could have been a American word in Polish. So I wanted to make sure that like I had Polish in it. So I go up to the counter and I ask if they speak English because that's all I can do. And she says no, but she pointed to the guy working with her, and he shook his head. And I said, "Oh," so I said, "So how do I order?" And he said, "You can either get individual items or get a meal like a combo." And he pointed over to the combo and he said, "So which one do you want?" And it was in Polish, so I just go, "I'll take the first one." So and he knew he knew I was just like randomly selecting at him because I didn't know what they were. But yeah, it was actually really good. It came with like a pork loin cutlet, boiled potatoes, tomato soup that was really good. It was like really good. It was like well seasoned tomato soup and sauerkraut. Oh, and kumquat juice, which is like pretty good. It's pretty refreshing. And yeah, so my first meal, which you'll see here in a second, was in the top of this mall from just some random Polish store, and it was actually really good. All right, so this next little bit is going to be kind of a little like tech rundown about how you actually get a European cell phone to work. Um, if you're not familiar with any of the European cell phone carriers. So this is the phone I got at Saturn. It's a Nokia. It's can just call and text pretty much. That's it. I think it can play music too, but I haven't put any music on it. But the nice thing about it, it's like a 5,000 hour battery, so I'm only gonna have to recharge it. Like I'm gonna have to recharge it very rarely, is the point. So what you do, what's pretty common is that you get a cellular service called Orange. I think T-Mobile is pretty popular, and there's another one, but I can't remember it right now. Um, but what you do is you go into like a kiosk, or Saturn carries it. The store I got this from, a lot of like technology stores carry them, and it's a SIM card. So you buy it. I think mine was like 5 zloty, which is like um, it's like $1.50. Um, so it's pretty cheap, and it's called a starter pack, is what I bought. And I would show you the package, but I threw it away because I didn't have very good foresight. But so so once you have a phone and a SIM card, you have to register your phone number. And this is the part that I messed up the first time. When you're in the store, you have to make sure that you show your identification, like your social security, or not your social security, your passport, or some form of identification to the tech service there, because they have to actually register your name and like your identity to each phone number. And I actually did that in the store just because the person helping me in the store directed me to the person automatically because he knew, and I mean he knew that I didn't know, so he went ahead and just like did it for me. So he took me to the tech person, and the tech person registered a phone number. What I didn't know is that the phone number he registered is on your receipt. So when I got home, I thought like it was registered my SIM card somehow. So you just put the SIM card in the phone. It's like there's a little slot in the back. You can look up your model of phone, and it'll show where the SIM card goes. Oh, and the Orange SIM card can adjust. So you can actually, like, it can fit multiple sizes of SIM cards. So keep that in mind. So don't like break it up into little pieces because it's meant to be broken up based on what size it should be. Um, anyway, so you put it in your phone and it pops up like a setup screen on your phone. And so you go through the setup and you basically choose the plan you want and your phone number. But when I got to the phone number screen, I didn't know what to click, and so I waited and it randomized the number for me. So don't do that because that phone number is not registered. So I had to go back and register that phone number too because I got a random number, not the one I registered. So that's your fair warning. The orange packet, depending on what country you're in Poland, it's only in Polish. So I had to use Google Translate quite a bit to set it up. But basically the plan I got is just uh, calling and texting and internet, but uh, what you do is you go online and you can renew your card online, so you can purchase more minutes and more text. So you never have to buy a new SIM card like when your service runs out. You just simply update your balance on tied to the SIM card. Another thing that is setting up a bank. To set up a bank in Poland, I'm not sure how it is in other Polish countries, but you have to have a Polish address. You have to have a Polish cell phone number. So this was the first step to setting up my bank account. Setting up the bank account was like pretty basic. You're just setting up a bank account. Try to get someone that speaks English because the lady I worked with spoke English, and she was like very professional and she spoke excellent English, so it was really easy. If they ask you for your TIN number, that stands for Taxpayer Identification Number. And for most Americans, that's your social security number. And I didn't know that, and the banking lady didn't know that. So I had to step out into the lobby and Google it just to make sure I was giving her the right number. But I think you can get your TIN number can differ from your social security number, but I think you have to change it, something with a business or register. I really don't know how your TIN becomes different than your social security number, but just be aware that when they ask for TIN, it's social security. So today was actually the first day in our Fulbright orientation. And so the first thing that we did was we took a tour of Old Town Warsaw. And so I've compiled a couple of photos. I didn't get to take as many as I'd like to because, everyone, like, it was our first chance to meet and greet everybody. And we were taking a tour, so we kind of had an earpiece in. So there was a lot of stuff going on, but enjoy. Perhaps the most interesting aspect of Old Town Warsaw is that during World War II, the entire area was completely destroyed. Through great effort from the Polish government and the Polish people, it was completely reconstructed based off old photographs, and they did such an excellent job with this that Warsaw Old Town is the only UNESCO World Heritage Site that is actually a reconstructed site and not original. Other interesting sites were the President's House, statues of Frederick Chopin, and Copernicus. So after finishing the tour, we finished the day by having a graduation program for Polish Fulbrighters that had been in America that were returning home. There was a very nice speech given by the Ministry of Science and Higher Education's Secretary of State and by a consul from the American Embassy. And actually, after we finished with the graduation ceremony, we were invited to the ambassador's residence for a meet and greet and kind of a reception. And so that was really cool. There's a lot of food and just kind of all the American Fulbrighters and Polish Fulbrighters meeting. And they're really nice. They're really cool. I really like the other Fulbrighters. They're very friendly and open, and they're definitely very mature. So it was pretty easy to make conversation and meet people. Um, and then I had to take a taxi back to my hotel, and that was kind of interesting because I was just standing out on the street for like 45 minutes waiting. Uh, I had to call it in, but luckily another girl there, she spoke a lot more Polish than me, and she actually made the call for me because I don't think they would have understood what I wanted. So that was cool. But yeah, but it did take them a while to get there. So yeah, that concludes my this vlog update. Thanks for stopping by. Next vlog is going to be on my trip to Stettin. I'm going by train, so there should be a lot of cool things to talk about. It's about a 5-hour trip, so I look forward to talking to you guys about that. Shout out to my friends and family. Shout out to my girlfriend Shayna. I've been a little homesick, but that comes with the territory when you're across the sea and like a place you don't speak the language. But things are going well, and thanks to all my friends and family for support, and see you next time.
Don't you worry.